is Emily. I am 22 years old. My story is not a happy story at the beginning, but please listen. Sometimes difficult roads lead to beautiful places. My life was very hard. My family was very poor. We lived in a small house with thin walls. In winter, the cold wind came inside. We put old blankets on the windows, but the cold always found a way in. My father worked hard. He worked in a factory. His hands were rough. He was always tired, but he always had a smile for me. My mother was sick. She had a cough that never went away. Some days, she was too weak to get out of bed. The doctor said she needed better food. She needed good medicine. But good food and medicine cost money. Money we did not have. I worked too. I cleaned houses. I scrubbed floors. I washed windows. I worked for rich people in big, beautiful houses. Their houses were always warm. They had so much food. Sometimes they threw away food that was still good. My heart ached when I saw that. That food could feed my family for a day. But I never said anything. I just did my work. I was quiet. I was invisible. One of my jobs was at the house of Mr. Harrison. His house was the biggest of all. It was like a castle. It had many rooms. So many rooms that I think Mr. Harrison did not use most of them. The house was very quiet. It was a lonely kind of quiet, not peaceful. Mr. Harrison was an old man. He had white hair and sad eyes. He walked slowly with a cane. He had no wife, no children. His family was all gone, he told me once. He had a lot of money. The house was full of expensive things. Big paintings on the walls. Beautiful statues in the corners. But he always looked sad. Most days, he just sat in a big leather chair in his library. The library had thousands of books. The walls were covered in them. He would watch me as I dusted the shelves. He didn't say much. Sometimes he asked, "How is your family, Emily?" I would say, "They are okay, sir." I did not tell him about my mother's cough. I did not tell him about our cold house. It was not my place. I worked for him for almost a year. The work was hard, but he paid me on time. That money was very important. It bought us bread. It bought us potatoes. Sometimes it bought a little medicine for my mother, but it was never enough. My mother was getting weaker. Her face was pale. Her cough was worse at night. I would lie awake in my bed, listening to her cough from the next room. My heart felt like a heavy stone in my chest. I felt so helpless. I prayed every night for a miracle. I did not know that my miracle would come in a very strange and difficult form. One afternoon, I was cleaning the big window in the library. It was raining outside. The rain made sad lines on the glass. Mr. Harrison was in his chair, watching me. The house was extra quiet that day. Just the sound of the rain and my cleaning cloth. "Emily," he said. His voice was soft, but it made me jump. I turned around. "Yes, sir." "Come here." "Sit down for a moment," he said, pointing to a small chair opposite him. I felt nervous. I never sat down when I was working. It felt wrong. But he was my boss. So I slowly walked over. I wiped my hands on my apron and sat on the edge of the chair. My heart was beating fast. Was I in trouble? Did I break something? He looked at me for a long time. His sad eyes seemed to look right inside me. "You are a good girl, Emily," he said. "You work hard. You are honest. You never complain." I didn't know what to say. "Thank you, sir," I whispered. "I am a very lonely man," he continued, looking at his old, wrinkled hands. "I have all this money, this big house, but I have no one. No one to talk to, no one to share a meal with. This house is not a home. It is a museum. A very quiet, very lonely museum." I felt sad for him. Even with all his money, he was unhappy. It was a strange thought. I always thought money would solve all problems. He looked up at me again. His eyes were serious. "My health is not good, Emily. The doctors say I do not have much time left. Maybe a year, maybe less." I felt a shock of sadness. Even though he was just my boss, I did not want him to die. "I am so sorry to hear that, sir," I said. He nodded slowly. "I have been thinking about my life, about my money. I have no family to leave it to. It will all go to the government or to some charity I do not care about. It feels like a waste." He paused. He took a deep breath. Then he said the words that changed my whole life. "Emily," he said, his voice quiet but clear, "I have a proposal for you. It is a strange proposal, but please hear me out." I just nodded, my heart pounding in my ears. "I want you to marry me," he said. The world stopped. The rain outside stopped. My breathing stopped. I just stared at him. Marry him, an old man, my boss. It was crazy. It was impossible. "Sir, I don't understand," I stammered. "Let me explain," he said calmly. "It would not be a real marriage. Not in the way you think. I am an old man. I do not want a wife. I want a companion. Someone to be here. Someone to make this house feel less empty. And I want to help you." He leaned forward slightly. "I see the worry in your eyes, Emily. I know life is hard for you. I know your mother is not well. If you marry me, you will not have to work anymore. You can take care of your mother. You can give your family a good life. And when I die, all of this," he waved his hand around the big library, "all my money, this house, everything, it will all be yours." I couldn't speak. My mind was spinning. Was this real? Was he serious? It sounded like a story from a book. It did not feel real. Marry him, for money, for my family. "I know it is a big thing to ask," he said gently. "I am not asking for love. I am asking for a business arrangement. A promise. You give me companionship in my final days. And I give you and your family security for the rest of your lives." I stood up. My legs felt weak. I need to think," I whispered. "Of course," he said. "Take your time, but my offer is serious." I almost ran out of the library. I grabbed my coat and left the big, silent house. I walked home in the rain, but I didn't feel the cold drops on my skin. My mind was a storm. Marry Mr. Harrison. The words echoed in my head. It felt wrong, so wrong. Marriage should be for love, for partnership, not for money, not a business deal. What would people say? What would my parents think? I felt a wave of shame wash over me. But then another thought came. A picture of my mother, her pale face, her weak body, the sound of her cough, the doctor's words, "She needs better care." This was a way to give her that care, a way to buy her health, a way to buy her time. I thought about our cold house, the empty cupboards, my father's tired face. With Mr. Harrison's money, I could change everything. I could buy them a warm house. I could fill their kitchen with food. My father wouldn't have to work in the factory anymore. He could rest. It was a dangerous choice. A choice between my own feelings, my own idea of right and wrong, and my family's survival. The weight of it felt so heavy. It felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff. I could stay where I was, in our difficult but honest life. Or I could jump into a strange new life that felt like a lie. But a lie that could save my family. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat by my mother's bed. I watched her sleep. Her breathing was shallow. She coughed even in her sleep. I held her hand. It felt so thin, so fragile. In the dim light of the moon, I looked at her tired face. I love my mother so much. I would do anything for her. And in that quiet, desperate moment, I made my decision. The next day, I went to Mr. Harrison's house. My hands were cold and shaking. I felt sick to my stomach, but my mind was clear. I walked to the library. He was there in his chair, reading a book. He looked up when I came in. He didn't say anything. He just waited. I took a deep breath. "Mr. Harrison," I said. My voice was small but steady. "I have thought about your proposal." He closed his book and placed it on the table beside him. "And?" he asked softly. "I will do it," I said. "I will marry you." A strange look passed over his face. It was not happiness. It was not victory. It was something like sadness or pity. "Are you sure, Emily?" he asked. "This is a big sacrifice. You are very young. You should not have to make choices like this." His understanding made it harder. If he was cruel, it would be easier. But he was kind. It made my heart ache. Tears filled my eyes. "I am sure," I whispered. "For my family, I have to." He nodded slowly. "Very well," he said. "We will make the arrangements." And so my new life began. It was a secret at first. We were married quietly at the city hall. There were no guests, no white dress, no flowers, just me, him, and two strangers as witnesses. I signed my name on a piece of paper. Emily Harrison. It didn't feel real. I went home and told my parents. I did not tell them the whole truth. I could not. I told them that Mr. Harrison was a kind, lonely old man, that he wanted a companion. and that he wanted to help our family. I told them we were married. My father was shocked. He was angry at first. "He is an old man, Emily. What are you doing?" My mother was quiet. She looked at me with her tired eyes. She saw the truth in my face. She saw that I was doing this for them. She started to cry softly. "My poor girl," she whispered. Her tears broke my heart, but I stayed strong. I had to. The first thing I did was move my family. I used the money Mr. Harrison gave me. I bought a small, warm house in a quiet street. It had a little garden. For the first time, my mother had a warm bedroom. I bought her the best medicine. I cooked her warm soup and good meals. My father quit his job at the factory. The change in them was amazing. Color came back to my mother's face. Her cough became less. She started to smile again. My father started working in the garden. He looked relaxed, happy. Seeing them like that, it was worth everything. It had to be worth everything. My life, however, was strange. I moved into the big, lonely house. I was no longer the cleaner. I was Mrs. Harrison. I had my own beautiful room. I had beautiful clothes. I had anything I wanted. But I was not happy. I felt like I was living in a golden cage. My days were quiet. I did not have to clean anymore. Instead, I spent my time with Mr. Harrison. We ate our meals together in the huge, silent dining room. We didn't talk much. After meals, I would read to him in the library. He liked old poems and history books. I would read for hours. My voice would fill the silence of the room. He would just sit in his chair, with his eyes closed, listening. Sometimes I felt so lonely. I missed my family. I missed my old life, even with all its problems. At least it was real. This life felt like a performance. I was playing a part, the part of the loving young wife. But there was no love, just a quiet, sad agreement. Mr. Harrison was never unkind to me. He was always polite, respectful. He treated me like a fragile, precious thing. But we were not friends. We were not family. We were two lonely people living in a big house together, bound by a promise. I looked at myself in the mirror. I wore expensive dresses. My hair was nicely done, but my eyes were the same. They were Emily's eyes, and they were sad. I did not recognize the person I was becoming. I had saved my family, but I felt like I had lost myself. Maybe you have felt this way too, doing something you think is right, but it makes you feel empty inside. It is a very hard feeling. Months passed. The seasons changed. Autumn came, and the leaves in the big garden turned to gold and red. Mr. Harrison grew weaker. He spent more time in his bed. The doctors came to the house more often. I took care of him. I brought him his meals. I made sure he took his medicine. I sat with him when he was in pain. It was not love, but it became something else, a kind of duty, a kind of respect. He was a lonely old man, and I was his only companion. In those quiet, final months, we started to talk more. He told me about his life. about his wife who died young, about the son he lost in a war. He told me about his regrets. I spent my whole life making money, Emily, he told me one evening. His voice was a weak whisper. I thought it was the most important thing. But at the end, it is nothing. It cannot buy you more time. It cannot bring back the people you love. It cannot buy you happiness. I listened, and I understood. I was living in a house full of money, but I was not happy. He was right. One night, he was very weak. He called me to his bedside. He took my hand. His hand was cold and thin. "Emily," he whispered, "thank you. You have been kind to me. You made my last days less lonely." Tears streamed down my face. "You have been kind to me too, sir," I said. "You saved my family." He smiled a little. A weak, sad smile. "My name is Arthur," he said. It was the first time he had ever told me to call him by his first name. "Promise me something, Emily." "Anything," I said. "This money, it will be yours soon. Don't let it be a cage for you, like it was for me. Don't let it control you. Use it to live, to be happy. Find love, Emily, real love. Build a life that is true. Promise me." "I promise," I cried. "I promise, Arthur." He closed his eyes, and a few hours later, he was gone. The big house became even quieter, more empty. It was all mine now. The money, the house, everything. I was a rich woman. I was 23 years old and one of the richest women in the city. My dream had come true, but I felt more alone than ever. For weeks, I did nothing. I just stayed in the big, silent house. The money felt heavy, like a burden. I thought about Arthur's promise. Live, be happy, find love. How could I do that? I didn't know how. My family was safe and happy. That was my gift from him. But what about me? I sold the big house. It was full of sad memories. I bought a smaller, comfortable house for myself, near my family. But I was still lost. The money sat in the bank. I didn't know what to do with it. Buying things did not make me happy. Traveling felt empty. Then one day, I visited the old neighborhood where I grew up. I saw families like mine, struggling, worried. I saw a young girl just like me, looking tired and sad. And then I knew what Arthur wanted me to do. I knew how to keep my promise. I didn't need all that money. It was too much for one person, but it could help so many. I used the money to start a foundation, a charity, the Harrison Foundation in his name. We provide help for poor families with sick family members. We provide money for medicine, for good food, for warm houses. My life changed again. But this time,